Have I been to a club on Saturday then church on Sunday? Yes. Multiple times. Have you ever been to a club Saturday then church Sunday? Guilty face.
Awkward. Have I ever been to a club on Saturday and then church on Sunday? Yes. I have to be honest, I have. And that was only because I was celebrating a friend's birthday. And then I think it only happened like once. So I really don't remember. I was like mad young.
That moment was just making an excuse. Like, I only been there one time.
It's not a sin because I went one time.
Unfortunately, I have not. Because I already knew if I went out Saturday, there was a 99.9% chance that I would not go to church on Sunday. But I've done one where I've deployed where, we did mass on a Friday, and you kind of get the warnings, and you get the word in you, but I was young.
So we as Christians, should we go to parties? I'm not against it. I go to parties. I feel like there's no wrong doing. I feel like your actions at the party can be wrongdoings. Like, for example, if your friend is having like a birthday party or like a fight night party for the Mayweather fight, Team Mayweather, there's nothing wrong in going to it, but I think it all depends on your actions once you're there.
Okay, the right answer is...
I don't know what that right answer is though.
I don't want to be the aficionado for Christianity. I do believe that everybody should have a standard for themselves and their own individual walk with God. If you ask me, I would say no. I don't think we should. I think the lifestyles do not parallel and it causes conflict.
When it comes to clubs, you know what makes it bad? Is, the way people act in clubs. You're drinking, you're smoking, you're doing all that stuff. I don't think clubbing necessarily is a bad thing. I think it's how people make it into something bad.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I partied, I clubbed, but then I think it's the individual. You feel a social awkwardness. So I remember I used to be having a blast, but then deep inside me, I always felt out of place. I had a blast. Don't get me wrong. So, I don't want to say it's a rite of passage. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the right term. But I think, once you don't, overdo it.
My personal, honestly, I don't think so, because it's like, you go to church one day, the next day you're drinking, you partying, having fun. All right, that's sinning. And then you go to church the next day, it's like, okay, how you transition, you know what I'm saying? Like, how you do that? So you go to church now you all worshiping and you all holy and everything, but then you just smoking, drinking, partying, whining on somebody. It just doesn't transition to me, and it doesn't make any sense.
Well, how about, why does the word club have to seem so negative?
Yeah.
Like, why is it that, you went to the club last night, and it has to be automatically, we're talking about the strip club, and we're talking about, turn up, twerk.
I mean, you go to the club to dance and let out some of your frustrations and have a good time. That's what you're really going there for. Just that everybody turns into something crazy.
Yeah.
We
Or
need
fights
have
and drinking and doing all these ungodly
things. We have Christian clubs. Christian clubs coming soon.
They do have Christian clubs. Just gotta find them. Seek and you shall find.
Christian, as in like a club for Christians. I don't. Maybe because I've never been to one. I feel like, why are we trying to mimic the world? Like, why? I don't want to go to. Maybe it has to be worded differently. I don't want to go to a place that's like, it's dubbed a Christian club. It can't just be like a Christian event. Maybe you want to call it a Christian mixer. I think the activity and behaviors that are being carried out in the space dictate or define like what it is and how comfortable as a Christian I'd be with it.
Yeah, I actually have a kind of funny story. So, oh man, I gotta say this story on camera. Gonna judge me.
I had to go to church the next day was because if I can go party it up for a friend's birthday, then I could definitely lift my hands up and give God all the thanks and praise, because something could have happened in that club the night before, even though it was just for my friend's birthday. So
It's like the worst time that I had, like going to a party on Saturday, is when I had a little bit too much to drink. I fell asleep on the bed, and I had to be at church really early, so I definitely came to church with the same clothes on. And the funniest part was, somebody called me out because they saw my Instagram, and they was like, was you at the party? I was like, yeah. They was like, yeah, the same clothes on. I'm like, yeah.
Just being honest, I think it's whack. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna indulge yourself in certain things that you don't need to be indulging yourself in. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, okay, you go out, you drink, you smoke, you have fun with your friends, and then what? You know what I'm saying? You spend a whole lot of money, and then what?
How did I feel during the service after I went to the club on the Sunday? From what I remember, I probably repented 20 times over.
She felt naughty.
To be honest with you, actually, just strengthening my faith in God too. I found myself not really wanting to like dance and really get involved while I was at the club. Like, I just caught myself like wanting to stop and just have a seat. And now growing up, you know, younger, I was in high school, I was on the dance team, all that stuff. So I became the life of the party. But as I increase my walk with God, I tend to not want to really be there. And it really became more of a supportive thing for that person I was celebrating a birthday.
Unfortunately, I didn't feel the best, so I came to church not 100%. It was an interesting day.
So, but why did you feel uncomfortable being in the club?
Because of songs and, you know, middle finger, this, that, you know, the words,
So
you know, calling the girl out of their name. It just was uncomfortable.
You don't be listening to those songs throughout the week?
I listen to the clean versions on the radio.
To be honest, at that time, I wasn't really moving spiritually. I think at that time, I was still in that phase where I was just going to church out of protocol, out of like religious standard, because that's like, you know, what my household, my parents required us to go to church. But I was still more in the world. Like at that time, I was still living in the world, still acting and carrying on as if I was in the world. So church for me wasn't really spiritual at that time. I had emotional spiritual moments, but it wasn't really spiritual.
Honestly, now I don't like the party scene anymore. Like when I was younger, and actually I'm not even gonna say when I was younger, but it's not like an age thing. Is when I wasn't as committed to the Lord as I am now. Like now, I just feel like I'm at a party. I feel awkward. Like the music, the people. I don't want to be there like that. What's her name? Alicia Cara. I don't want to be here. What's that song? Here? What's that song? Alicia Cara? Nobody listen to Alicia Cara? Okay, this is me. I like Alicia Cara. Here.
When I was younger, yeah, I was involved with a lot of parties and a lot of house parties and stuff like that. I think as you get older and you start to get more closer to God, you start to realize that there's events you can go to. Like there's a fight party coming up. Like Mayweather's gonna be fighting, right? I can go to that event and not drink. I can go to that event and enjoy the game. I can go there and laugh and you know, make jokes and stuff like that, and not have to be different, not have to come out on my Christian walk to do that.
Okay. What kind of impact do you think Christians can have in the environment of like party scenes or clubs? Actually, funny story that I have. I feel like God has a sense of humor, and He will meet you and that person in whatever situation you're in. So there's been a time where I'm like, I really don't want to go to this bar or so, but my friend of mine invited me. So I went there, and I was actually out of town visiting, and he brought a friend like to the bar, and then it just happened like we was actually like at the bar, and we just got into this conversation about who Jesus is, God, and just about the things that the young lady was going through. And then I just started like this sharing my testimony with her, and then she started crying, and then we were just like talking about God and like engaging and like the values. and what God's going to place in our heart. And I was given the example that nothing's by accident. Me being here in this bar talking to you is not by accident. Like, yeah, some would say you shouldn't be in that environment, but I feel like we as people and how Jesus led his life, he went to the gutter. He went to the places where the Pharisees wasn't, the holies of holies wasn't. You gotta meet people where they are. And I feel like us as Christians, we take it so much that, oh, I shouldn't be there, I shouldn't be there, I shouldn't be there. And yeah, you shouldn't put yourself in that environment, but how can we effectively reach the people that are still there?
I have a question.
We're gonna have this.
So, when you think about where Jesus walked, right? And where he went, where was he? Was he like out there with the priests and the kings and blessing them? Or was he with the scummiest of the scummiest people?
Scum.
Well, maybe they weren't that scummy. Where was he? Was he up high on the mountain? Or he was in the valley low?
He was out there in the
chilling.
trenches.
Right in the trenches.
In the trenches.
So, I mean,
doing God's work.
Exactly.
In the trenches.
Hey, maybe you can go to a fight party on Saturday night and maybe God will give you a revelation.
We're comparing the fight party to trenches. Just letting you know.
And lastly, what can we do besides clubs?
We can go to the fight party.
And cut! Beautiful God.
Next time on Misfits Arise.
For me, like when I think of the mothers in the church and all this wisdom and stuff like that, unfortunately, I think of Pocahontas. And I think of... Hear me out.